What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Tiberius back again with another video. Today we are going to talk about the Glock 17 and if it is still a viable option. Is it still a good gun? There's a lot more competition now than when these guns came out, and that's what I want to talk about today. I have 5 quick things before we get started. Yes, 5, but they're quick. 1, if you noticed, I was shooting everything one-handed, strong hand only. I hurt my elbow. I got a boo-boo in my left elbow, and I'm trying to rest it as much as possible. I'm about 3 weeks out for the tactical games, and I want that elbow to feel as good as I can, so there will be no shooting with this hand until the tactical games. 2, my only spare magazine I had was a fun stick. I don't own a Glock 17 anymore, so this is my magazine, and then all the spares I had was fun sticks. So that was my only choice for secondary magazines. 3rd, once again, I need to thank my homies at the Elite Indoor Gun Range / Peacedale Shooting Preserve. They are by far the biggest supporter of this channel. They have lent us the Staccato P, the Shield EZ, the Micro Roni, the Glock 17, and there's one more I'm forgetting, but they are very, very big supporter of this channel. They are greatly appreciated. If you're in Southern New England, do yourself a favor, check them out. Sporting clays, 2 indoor ranges, firearms trainings, really, really nice pro shop, on and on and on. You get it, but it is a very, very nice gun store, a country club, as I call them. So the Glock 17 has been out since mid-80s, 84, 85, whatever it is. We are on the 5th generation of the Glock 17. This one here is a Gen 4. Last I counted, there's about 8,792 reviews on the G17 on YouTube already. So I'm not going to go into the specs too much, but I do want to go into them a little bit because there's millions of new gun owners here in 2020, and a lot of people are probably going to be searching if this gun is a good option for them, so I am going to spend some time on the specs. So, like I said, this one here is the Gen 4. We are on to the Gen 5s. Gen 5, there's a bunch of differences on the Gen 5. I'm going to see how many I can name off the top of my head. They're available with metal sights finally, which is great. The plastic sights should never exist. The MOS version and some of them have front serrations for you press check people. One of the bigger ones is the Gen 5 has an ambi slide release. This Gen 4 is just left side for you righties. So having that ambi slide release if you're shooting offhand or if you're a lefty is a big, big win. Supposedly the trigger's better on the Gen 5s. I don't really feel it, maybe slightly. I don't know. The barrel is new and improved. It is a Glock marksmanship barrel. While most shooters aren't good enough to see, good enough shooters to see the increase in accuracy, it is a more accurate barrel. The slide is a different finish, supposedly more durable. The mag well is flared. It has 2 pins instead of 3 pins. It goes on for a while. And the other really big one is the removal of the finger grooves. While the finger grooves line up perfect for me, they don't for everyone. So I was very happy to see that Glock removed those finger grooves on the Gen 5. As always, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Glock magazines are all polymer magazines. They do have a steel reinforcement with steel reinforced feed ramps. Glock 17 is 17 rounds, Glock 19 15 rounds. Bunch of different aftermarket accessories, including magazines you can get for them. My only holdup on the magazines is sometimes when the guns get warm and you start running them, they don't quite drop free. That's one disadvantage that I've seen with Glocks. As far as the grip, the texture is very good on the Gen 4, Gen 5. I'm a big fan. I don't like the Glock Hump. I'm not a big fan of it. I have to work twice as hard to shoot just as well as some other guns. So for me, if Glock offered a flat back strap and then the humps as additional accessories, I would be the biggest Glock fanboy out there if they did, but they don't, and that's one of the only reasons I don't carry and don't love Glocks. That hump is just not for me. I know lots of people love it. It's not my cup of tea. Magazine release is good. It is reversible for you lefties. It is a good size and a good spot. The way I judge magazine releases and slide releases, this is just me, is can I reach them without readjusting my grip? I feel if I have to readjust my grip and do all this when I'm trying to run the slide or run the magazine, it's a waste of time. So I can easily hit this magazine release with my grip without readjusting it, and I can easily send that slide forward without readjusting my grip. So both the slide release and the magazine release for me are perfect. Glock triggers. Glock triggers, man. They're combat triggers. They're not bad. They're average. They're decent. They're effective. I easily get hits at 100 yards. If you're a trigger snob like myself, you can easily replace them with 100 different options. But this is the trigger. So we have a little bit of take up. They do have a very good wall, which I like, shooting from the wall. Super tactile, super audible. There's your reset. Let me do it again. So Glock triggers are mushy. Glock triggers are not great triggers, but they are very serviceable. Nothing wrong with them. New shooters tend to struggle a little bit with them because they're so a little sloppy there. But practice is what you need to improve and get better, not upgrades like triggers. Anyway, the rail. Glock Universal rail with a single cutout. The new generations have the 1913 size cutout, where the older Gen 4s and Gen 3s have the Glock size cutout. So that one cutout on the rail right there has been different sizes from Glock. We learned that the hard way. And something about this rail doesn't look right. Can you guys guess what? Moving on up to the slide, as I mentioned earlier, the rear of the slide does have serrations, the front does not. Some of the newer Gen 5 Glocks and the MOS edition of these Gen 5 Glocks do have front serrations if you're looking for them. The MOS is SIG's, Glock's modular optics system, I believe they call it. It just allows you to add a red dot to the pistol. It is a decent option for a factory red dotting system, and again, I'm happy Glock finally has pistols that are optics ready right from the factory. The sights are a thing that a lot of people have problems with, and I am no different. I am very happy to say that the Gen 5 can come with metal sights if you want it to, and it can even come with the Ameriglow sights, which is terrific. Hopefully we see Glock get rid of these plastic sights. I feel that no $500-600 duty gun should come with plastic sights. These aren't high points. I would expect more. You can even see kind of on this front sight here, I don't know if it's going to show, but the front sight is wearing away a little bit on this one. This is the gun that goes inside the Micro Roni at the Elite Indoor Gun Range, and from rubbing inside there, that front sight is starting to wear away. So, metal sights Glock, no more plastic sights. Taking down and working on Glocks is much easier than any other gun, significantly easier. The engineering, Gaston Glock, great job. So this right here is the takedown lever on both sides. We're just going to slightly pull back on the slide and pull down on the takedown lever. So back on the slide, down on these two little levers, pull the trigger in a safe direction, and the slide lifts right off. So this is the very, very dirty frame. And then our slide is also extremely dirty. Definitely make sure I clean this before I give it back to the Elite Indoor Gun Range. This is the dual captured recoil spring, polymer guide rod, your Glock barrel, and like I said, I've worked on M&Ps a bunch, P320s, Glocks, FNs, putting different triggers in, putting different accessories in, a bunch of different rifles at work. I've worked on quite a few, and by far the Glock is the easiest. I can't think of one that's easier than the Glock. The AR-15s aren't bad, but Glock is by far the easiest one to work on, in my humble opinion. Putting it back together for you newbies, opposite order. You put the barrel in, guide rod goes in next, if I could line it up right. Sorry. And then we're going to slide it right back on the frame. Function tested a few times. We are good to go. Alright, so the dimensions. Sorry guys, I get silly sometimes. Dimensions. It is definitely a full-size gun. It is larger. It is full size. It has a little bit of weight to it. I carried this appendix with this exact light for a few years and didn't have a problem. Good gun belt usually takes care of that for you. But it's a good sized gun. The pictures I'm going to roll in right here is comparing a Glock 17 to a VP9 and then a P10C and then a G19. And I'm going to roll in a couple different images and a couple different angles so you can get an idea of the size of the Glock 17 compared to some of the other popular pistols that I have access to. As far as pros for the Glock 17, typically they are all very, very reliable and very, very durable. Most of the time when people have problems, it's because they tinkered with the gun and upgraded springs and this, and then they started having problems. But typically super reliable, super, super durable. Another thing I love is how much aftermarket support and aftermarket accessories and aftermarket things you can get for the Glock. Now this is a perfect example. There are so many different doohickeys and things and this and that, and you can really customize the gun how you want. And that leads me to Glock Perfection. I hear a lot of people kind of crapping on Glock Perfection, but to me I think of it a little differently. I don't know who said this first, I don't remember. But Glock Perfection it's perfect because the gun can be whatever you want it to be. Some people choose to buy a $500 gun and spend $3,000 on it, and that's not my cup of tea, but to them, that's their Glock Perfection. If I was good to buy another Glock, I'd upgrade the sights and probably be good and leave it there. But the gun is so customizable, like an AR-15, that's what makes it Glock Perfection to me. Anyway, cons. Sights right off the bat. Plastic sights on a duty gun, let's get rid of them and never ever bring them back. Let's just kill that and yeah, go away. We don't need plastic sights. 2 is going to be the Glock Hump. I know there's a ton of people who like the Glock Hump, who shoot it, who prefer it, who have gotten used to it, but there's also a large amount of people who do not like the Glock Hump, me being one of them. If Glock got rid of that hump, I would be the biggest Glock fanboy and I would carry and shoot nothing but Glock because, like I said, reliable, durable, and so much aftermarket parts, accessories, holsters, etc. What I suggest Glock does, not that my opinion matters, but hey, I've been in sales for over 30 years, so this is how my mindset goes. If half the world loves the Glock Hump and half the world hates the Glock Hump, I say they get rid of it with a flat back strap, and they add additional back straps in different sizes for the people who want the Glock Hump. That will allow people like me to run a flat back strap and buy Glocks again, and the people who like the Glock Hump to continue enjoying their Glock Hump. What do you guys think? I want to hear your opinion on this. From a sales point of view, if half the world hates a feature of yours and half loves it, work it in a way where you can kind of please both groups. That's a win-win to me. I think if Glock did that, their sales would shoot through the roof. So I started this review asking, is the Glock 17 a viable option? Is it still a good gun? I think it is less of a viable option than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago, but it is definitely still a very, very good gun and a good option. I think Glock can be a little slow to make the changes we want, like the optics cut, the ambi controls, the upgraded trigger, etc., but they are making those changes, which is good. Because they're so durable, reliable, and there's so much aftermarket support, and they're priced pretty reasonable, that makes it a viable gun in my mind. Once again, I want your opinion. I know the Glock fanboys will be all over it. Yes, they are, and the Glock haters were going to be like, those guns are trash. Try to be realistic and give me your opinion. Let me know what you think. Before you go, though, you know I have to thank my homies at the Elite Indoor Gun Range. They have become the biggest supporter of this channel. Without nice people like them, there would be no Tiberius TV that we have here. So thank you guys for letting me get my hands on this, and the Micro-Roni, and the Staccato P, and the Smith & Wesson EZ, and whatever the other one is they let me borrow, I can't remember. I appreciate them very, 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 very much. If you guys are looking to support the channel, there is a bunch of different ways of doing it. Simply hitting that like button and commenting below is a huge, huge help. If you want to see the future reviews we have coming out, consider clicking the subscribe button. This way you get notified when we come out with those new reviews. If you want to see what reviews we are currently working on in real time, consider liking me on Instagram and Facebook. The links to both of those are down below. We do have 2 channel sponsors. One is M2 Tactical Solutions, best Kydex gear in the game, in my opinion. The other one is Howling Beard Company. If you want to show your beard some love, check out Howling Beard Company. Both discount codes are Tiberius, in caps, and both will save you 10%. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Come on. There we go. 6.37. A little over 15 yards away. And what goes with the red base plate? Red bullets. Federal Syntac. Oh, 25 yards now. Tree for tree. Three for three at 35. 50 yards, one-handed with a pistol. I'll take 3 for 3 again. 75 yards, one-handed with a pistol. And it's a Glock. Hey! No. Hey! 2 for 3 at 75 yards all day.